And we're live for another edition of Blood Feud Radio. This is Matt, and I, of course, joined every Tuesday with the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who enjoys a little bit of pineapple on his pizza. It is Rhys. What's going on, dude?
Not much, man. What an accurate description of me right there. Yeah, I'm doing good. Looking forward to the conversation that we're going to be having. Pineapple definitely belongs on pizza. Moving on.
I mean, that might be our next the top 10 things that you don't put on a pizza, and pineapple will be number one.
Man, don't even start with that.
We're bringing the Blood Feud Radio to life with that conversation. Anyway, so today's conversation is top 10 best WWE Survivor Series matches ever, and they are ranked. I've been just playing this through, like, in my head over the last week, trying to think what Sportster is going to come up with this time, what idiocracy they're going to bring to the table with this list. Because they've kind of disappointed in the last couple lists, I'm not going to lie. Yeah,
like some of them have, like, so in these lists that we've been seeing, like, there's a few hot takes in there, and I'm like, why are you there? Or like, why is that above this? So, but there's quite a few Survivor Series matches that I can think of that I would put in my top 10. That might even be a thing that we do before Survivor Series comes up. But there's also a few individual single Survivor Series matches that I definitely think belong in there. So hopefully they've mixed it up a little bit.
So let's just jump right into it. And they start off with a singles match. Number 10 on their list is from 2007. We have Batista versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match for the World Heavyweight Championship.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago when we was doing our Hell in a Cell, the list. This is the one Edge returns. He's dressed as the cameraman. Yeah. And yeah, this was a great match. Like we said, I don't want to spend too long on this one just because we talked about it at length. But this was part of, like, the amazing feud that Batista and The Undertaker had that year. And with Edge coming in at the end, back from injury, yeah, it was an amazing match. It was already a solid match before the Edge shock return. Yeah, very, very memorable Survivor Series.
Well, Uncle Dave, we like to see what he has to say each time out. Uncle Dave gave this one a 4 stars. I mean, that's good for Uncle Dave, you know.
I think it's good for Uncle Dave. To be honest, I'm surprised again. It was low. I think that's low for this kind of match. I would have given it at least a 4.5. I really enjoyed this. Maybe the strongest of the matches that Batista and The Undertaker had. It was either this or the Last Man Standing match, which were my favorites.
Yeah, those two are, without a shadow of a doubt, the two best that they had in that series.
Hell yeah.
So since we've already talked about this one, we can move on to the next one pretty quickly because it's one of those ones, hey, it's already been on a list. We don't have to spend time.
Go check out our Hell in a Cell list from a couple of weeks ago. We do discuss that match at length if you think we need to talk about it in any more detail, but we've already done it. So go watch the other videos.
Number 9 on the list is our first actual Survivor Series match. We have Team Cena versus Team Authority, and from 2014.
I am surprised that this is this low on the list. This was a very good match. The star of the show was Dolph Ziggler, the massive return. Oh, sorry, the massive debut at the end. You had Sting coming in for the first time in WWE history. The stakes that were on the line in this, if the Authority lost this match, then they lost all power. Everyone wanted that to happen. WWE, I feel like, intentional or not, really dragged out the Authority storyline. Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, every single week on Raw, just talking for the first 20, 25 minutes of the show. At this point, everyone just wanted the Authority out of power, and we finally got it. Sting helping Dolph Ziggler, the Iron Survivor, survive all the way through this match by himself. I feel like it was 3-on-1 at one point with Ziggler. Then Sting comes out, helps him get rid of Triple H, pins Seth Rollins, 1, 2, 3. The Authority are out of power. Sort of. I'm pretty sure they came back like 3 weeks later, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, Sting returning was great. Great.
Yeah, it was great.
Uncle Dave gave it 4.5. So, I mean,
4.5. Wow. Okay.
Attaboy, Uncle Dave.
Yeah. He did it.
Yeah, it was Cena, Dolph, Big Show, Ryback, and Eric Rowan. What a weird group of guys to put together. I mean,
that is a weird group of people, actually. Yeah.
I mean, Big Show, Ryback, Eric Rowan, like.
I thought it was weird because at that time they split up Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, didn't they? So yeah, it was like a weird. It was a weird section where like Harper was on the other side, Rowan was on the good guys' side. It was weird. And I think Big Show, didn't he turn on like Team Cena as well?
Was that when he punched like just knocked two of them out and just like walked out?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Dolph Ziggler absolutely selling his heart out in this match, though. Like the most flippy floppy guy in the business, Dolph Ziggler. This was probably his greatest moment in WWE because I feel like 2016 was the time that Dolph Ziggler's character really started to crumble. But 2014 was when people still really wanted him at the top of the card. He was just coming off the couple of years where people were really rooting for him, but obviously, fans' opinions had shifted more towards Daniel Bryan, etc. But this is where Dolph Ziggler really, really shone. Like this was his Shawn Michaels moment, if you will.
Well, like we talked on Discord over the weekend, and I posed that question about who are some of the most underrated and underappreciated. Dolph Ziggler has got to be in everyone's top 10. He's got to be one of the most underrated and underappreciated guys in the business, like in the history of the business.
Hell yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I know that he's a multiple-time world champion, but I can't really tell you of any special moments that happened while he was the champion at any point because he held it for such a little amount of time. And also, just because he was so underutilized, he never really gave him a proper run. They never appreciated him while he was there. And as Nick Nemeth, he's really showing how good he could have been in WWE. He's doing some of his best work right now for TNA.
I mean, not to go on a Dolph Ziggler tangent, but I loved his promo about when the business doesn't love you back.
Oh yeah. When you love something and it doesn't love you back. Yes, that was a great promo. Really was.
Next on the list.
Just before we move on, like my favorite thing that Dolph Ziggler ever did was the feud that he had with Ray on SmackDown for the IC title. I think that really showed what he could do with the upper echelon of talent, and the fact that they never really capitalized on that is it's quite sad.
I mean, Dolph really, without Dolph being Dolph, we wouldn't have seen really AJ Lee.
Yep, true that.
We wouldn't see Big E. Big E wouldn't be, So,
what a weird group of people that they just threw together.
But it worked though. That's the thing. Like it worked.
Yeah, it did. And maybe that's like a testament to how good Dolph was that he could make that work.
I mean, CM Punk took Festus and Serena Deeb and turned them into a cool faction too. So I mean,
don't forget bald Joey Mercury.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. So number 8 on the list is comes 2 years later in 2016. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. It's a Survivor Series tag match. That was
Now, go on, dude. What was you going to say? You go
that
first.
was one of the ones that was with AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, Shane McMahon on SmackDown with a very different looking Braun Strowman.
This was peak Braun Strowman right here. Like Braun Strowman, like that was considered a monster, and people absolutely loved. I'm about to glaze the shit out of this match. I'm not gonna lie. This is my favorite Survivor Series match of all time. This would be my number one.
Okay.
It has everything that I could ever want. You know, I'm a sucker for Raw versus SmackDown. I don't care what people say. Just because it's the same company, brand warfare still matters to me, damn it. I don't care about war games. Give me back my Survivor Series matches, right? But second of all, it was given the time. This match went on without entrances. Entrances not included. This match went on for 52 minutes.
Wow, that's right. That was a
Yeah. It had little stories.
Marathon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it had little stories in between. Like, obviously, you had the little Shield reunion, slamming Styles through the table. You had Kevin Owens and Jericho at the peak of their storytelling when they had the list and where Kevin was like the chat. It was so good that you had Shane McMahon getting absolutely spayed out of his boots by Roman Reigns by accident, and then obviously Randy doing like such a heartwarming thing, like going over to his kids and telling him he was okay. It was such a good match. And for me, when Raw and SmackDown split again in 2016, this was the perfect way to kick it off. Don't get me wrong, the next Survivor Series matches, in 17, 18, 19 were dope, especially the ones with NXT. But this for me was so good. I absolutely loved this Survivor Series match. I thought it was the perfect Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series. I think they've done it great before, but I don't think they've done it as good as this or since.
Yeah, I mean, I used to love, and this is just, I hated it when they stopped doing it. It used to be champion versus champion, like the champion on Raw versus the champion on SmackDown. And
Yeah, that's how they brought it back in 2015.
Yeah, 20, and then it's the U.S. title versus the IC title. Then it's the two tag teams from the respective brand warfare is best, and they competed in like the winner. Brand supremacy is what it really came down to, and I wish they would do that again. I would love to see Punk Cody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I'd love to see. Well, now it'd be John Cena. Who's the U.S. title? See that's how current I am because I don't care about the product right now.
Cena and Dragunov, which actually sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does. Not gonna lie.
That does sound pretty dope.
And then it would be Jade
and Stephanie.
Again, thank you.
Yeah. Jade and Stephanie. And then you would have Becky versus Chelsea Green. Which, okay. That's an interesting dynamic. I'd be okay with that.
And then who's the tag titles? Tag teams are.
That's a great question. I think it's the Wyatts versus who the hell are the Raw Tag Champions?
That's AJ Lee. AJ Lee.
Oh yes, yeah. Dragon Lee and AJ Styles versus the Wyatts, which again I'm intrigued. Give me that. Yeah.
And then you have women, 4 women. 5 women from Raw, 5 women from SmackDown, and go ahead. And then
hell yeah. I don't understand. I made a video about this a couple of days ago, and don't get me wrong. There is a place on the calendar for War Games. I will say yes, there is. But the way this has been booked this year is awful and really shows and exposes what is wrong with War Games. It is in a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden, people have just decided that they hate each other, and now they've just been thrown together. I mean, last year it was a bit more organized because we still had the bloodline. The very first one where like Sami Uso, like is he going to be with the bloodline? Is he not? That one was great. But since the first one, all the War Games matches on the main roster has been so just thrown together, especially the women. I don't think we've had a great organized women's one. I mean, ever, to be honest with you. And then the fact that you've got War Games and completely threw the Raw versus SmackDown thing out the window. I'll never understand. You went from having a great concept of NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown in 2019, which was amazing. I don't know why they've not done one since, to what we have now, as in a War Games that doesn't mean anything. At least, yeah, I understand that brand supremacy, brand warfare doesn't mean anything because they're in the same company. But at the same time, just let me enjoy it. It's called kayfabe, Jesus Christ, like that. We're here for a good time. That's what Survivor Series. I saw a video on YouTube about an hour or two ago saying, "Oh, if you really got into the Raw versus SmackDown thing, if you ever cared about which brand was going to win, maybe you should need to check yourself." And I'm like, maybe you need to cheer up. Because Jesus Christ, it's called wrestling, dude. I'm here to watch wrestling. I'm here to enjoy it. I'm here to lose myself in this world, this universe. So if we're going to have a War Games, either make it a separate pay-per-view, or here's a mad idea, seeing as though it's already on Survivor Series, how about we have a Raw versus SmackDown War Games match? Yeah. Crazy concept.
Now, there's someone on Twitch, his name's Official Jeff Hardy. He says, "Can I ask you something?" Feel free to ask us anything you want in the chat, and once we get an opening, we will answer your question. So ask whatever you want.
I'm down for questions. Always down for questions.
We will try to give our explanation as well as we can. Uncle Dave gave this one 4.5 stars. So good on Uncle Dave for giving a good match a good rating. You know what I mean?
I'm glad he recognized this. One of the stars in this match was Braun Strowman as well, because even SmackDown recognized that he was like one of the biggest threats, and then it ended up being like James Ellsworth who got him like disqualified or counted out or something because he was the mascot for SmackDown. Yeah. Unbelievable, fantastic. 100%. This is my favorite Survivor Series match of all time.
And then Bray Wyatt picked up the win for SmackDown to finish the night off. So
hell yeah. Because this was when Bray and Randy were still friends, if you remember that storyline.
Oh yeah, when Randy was part of the family.
Yeah, underrated little segment of the Wyatt history right there. By the way, I love that bit.
See, I loved that Randy Orton when he went to Wyatt's to that cabin in the woods and burn it down.
Like, and he did the pose in the flame. So good, yeah.
Number
so good.
7, I think, is next. Yep, number 7.
Okay.
Another Survivor Series, another traditional Survivor Series game team. Team WWE versus the Alliance from 2001. It's another classic. Another instant classic.
Absolute classic. Literally the only flaw in this match was, pretty much the flaw that everyone brings up from the Alliance storyline is we needed more WCW guys. If they'd have waited just a couple of months, just another like 5 or 6 months to do this Alliance storyline, we would have been able to have like the NWO, Ric Flair, Goldberg in the Survivor Series match on Team Alliance, which would have been dope. With that being said, even though Team Alliance was made up of some ECW guys, mostly WWE guys, at the end of the day, you're still getting The Rock versus Austin at the end of this match. So, there's not much to complain about there. I personally quite enjoyed the Alliance storyline because I went back and watched it when I was very young. Obviously, because I got into wrestling after this happened, so I went back and watched it. this was a great match, and I am very surprised that this is not higher up on the list. What did you think of it?
Now, it was missing one of the greatest WCW wrestlers of all time.
David Arquette?
No, Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell.
Oh, even better. Yeah, exactly. He's like, if Buff with the stuff would have been there, then the Alliance would have won. But we wouldn't be talking about WWE right now.
No, we wouldn't. If Buff actually was given an opportunity, and I'm not just saying that because he is friend of the program. He is Huge Pop Entertainment. Go watch that episode, by the way. If you haven't watched that episode, Uncle Dave gave this one 4.5 stars. Another smart rating by Dave Meltzer,
which is surprising to me because Dave Meltzer is like notoriously like crapped like mostly on the Alliance storyline. So I'm glad that you recognize this was a good match.
And our friend Sean, Alpha Wolf Sean, says Undertaker should have came out of the egg.
Oh, we talking the gobbledygooker. Hell yeah. Like, if only the gobbledygooker would have gone on to have a undisputed WrestleMania streak. How the company would have looked differently.
I'm pretty sure if that would have been the case, that we would be talking the history of WCW, not the history of WWE.
Probably. What wasn't the gobbledygooker like Eddie Guerrero's dad or like his uncle or something?
I think it was Chavo, wasn't it?
He was definitely a Guerrero. I just don't remember which Guerrero it was. But yeah, he was a Guerrero.
I want to say it was Chavo. Oh, it was Hector.
Oh, it was Hector Guerrero. Oh God, what a legacy!
But yeah, again, like you said it perfectly. The Rock Austin at the end, it's just a classic moment.
100%. 100%. You're never going to go wrong with The Rock versus Austin.
No, at that point in history, it was Rock Austin equals money. Like,
oh yeah,
like Vince. If again going all the way back, Hogan was Vince's first golden goose that laid the golden eggs. Hogan. The Attitude Era was kind of a little bit of everybody. But then you got to Austin. It was Austin Rock. If you wanted to sell tickets and make money, you did something with both of them. And
yeah, for sure.
And then, of course, it was Triple H and Brock Lesnar and all that, and those guys at the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression. And then John Cena pops in, and now John Cena's the
got to be considered one of the greatest of all time, Cena.
Yeah. Like, now that he's a Grand Slam champion.
Yeah, hell yeah. Do you know what's crazy about The Rock and Austin? Like, going back to Survivor Series, just going back to them as a thing. Like, I think in terms of the Attitude Era, we can consider Rock and Austin 1A and 1B, right? Like, you know, and you can split that however you want. But how lucky and how fortuitous were WWE for them not only to have two massive stars at the same time, but for them to have unbelievable chemistry together. That's very rare. Like, you know, it's very rare to see that. It's doesn't always happen. I mean, I'll put it to this way. I mean, Kane and The Undertaker, huge stars in their own respect, yeah. But let's be honest, they don't have the greatest chemistry together. They have like one really good match, like WrestleMania 14, and then the rest are kind of like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's very rare to see, especially at the very top. I think John Cena and Randy Orton, again, good chemistry, but not as good as chemistry as The Rock and Austin.
Yeah, you go to I hate saying it, you go to Kane and Taker, you bring that up. I feel like you've seen one Kane Taker match, you've seen them all.
Especially in the 90s, because them
Yeah.
two wrestled very similarly all the way through. I mean, Undertaker sped it up a little bit in the late 90s. You know, he started to get rid of like the whole zombie walking thing, but Kane very much wrestled exactly the same from like 1997 to like 2001.
Yeah, for sure. So next up, we have number 6. We have Team Austin versus Team Bischoff Survivor Series Elimination Tag Match 2003.
This was great.
Yes.
I'm gonna say one thing about this match, dude. Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was the Dolph Ziggler of this match. Just bleeding everywhere. Try to stay alive for Austin. That moment where he just absolutely collapses and falls flat on Jericho, and he gets the elimination. Is it a Jericho or Christian that he falls on top of and gets the elimination? This was great. Like Bischoff at the height of his just asshole powers. You know, just the complete opposite to Austin, Sheriff Austin. If Austin lost, he isn't allowed to be Sheriff Austin anymore, and Bischoff takes complete control over Raw. If Austin wins, then he keeps on getting to raise hell and drink them beers and, you know, basically be the entertainment and like the foil to Eric Bischoff. This was such a good match. Another match that I was very, very invested in when I was younger, when I was watching it.
Now, the picture that they showed here with that match, because they give me a series of pictures, it was Randy Orton collapsed on top of Shawn Michaels. And they're
Oh, yeah,
both,
that happened, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
was just one of those moments in that. And again, 03, I was in and out, right? I was in and out. Like I've said before, 03, like 2000 to 2003, 2004 was, I was in college trying to balance being this, and this, and then watching wrestling. And then, you know, it just being a 20-something trying to be social and watch wrestling didn't work out in my favor. But 03 Survivor Series, I actually did go back and watch that match, and yeah, Shawn Michaels put on an absolute banger that
He
evening.
really did. He really did. And like you mentioned Randy Orton there as well. And I think we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on the pod. Like you had glimpses really early on in Randy Orton's career that he was going to be fantastic. And this was one of those moments. Like you had the moment with Foley in that hardcore match at Backlash around this time. But again, this is another match that if you go back and watch very early Randy Orton, you saw the potential, you saw the athleticism, and you saw that he just understood ring psychology. He just got the business. I mean, there's no surprise there. He's a third generation star, but you know, it's not to be understated about how young Randy was at this time. I think he was only like 23, 22 years old, and he is smooth as silk in that ring.
Yes, absolutely. Uncle Dave gave this one 4 1/4, not quite the 4.5 that he's been given the other ones, but 4 1/4. That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fine.
I'm
okay with that.
It says, well, obviously, just a little bit of a synopsis. It says Team Austin member Shawn Michaels found himself in a 3-on-1 disadvantage. That's why that might be arguably one of the greatest just all around Survivor Series performances ever.
Yeah, I totally agree. This was I think this was the start of Randy Orton's domination at Survivor Series here as well. Him like getting the victory. Like I think out of like 8 matches, Randy Orton has 6 victories or something in Survivor Series matches. Something crazy like that.
I think he's like one of the all-time winningest people in Survivor Series history.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he might actually have I think he has the most sole survivor victories, and I think he has the most Survivor Series victories in general. Like, you know, just being on the winning team. And I think this was one of the first ones, if not the first one.
Yeah, 03 was his rookie year, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah. He was around a little bit in 02 on SmackDown, but that wasn't the Randy Orton that we knew. Like when he went to Raw, I think that was the very first, like you say, rookie year, like the Randy Orton that we know today.
Yeah. The next one is we're going back to singles wrestling on this next one.
Okay.
It was from 2017. It was AJ versus Brock Lesnar, champion versus champion.
I don't know what to say about this match apart from Brock works the best with small opponents. When Brock Lesnar decides he wants to show up and have a good match, this is the outcome. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar from the year after on this list as well.
Well, it should be in the top 5. I mean, obviously, it's going to be if it's on the list because this is number 5.
Yeah. So, fun fact, I was there a week before SmackDown in the UK when Jinder Mahal lost the WWE Championship to AJ Styles. At the time, they were advertising Jinder Mahal versus Brock Lesnar. They pulled that out the last minute because they realized it was going to be dog shit, and they were probably going to be right. So they gave the title to AJ. For the first time ever, the WWE Championship changed hands outside of America, I believe, or North America, something like that, something crazy like that. I was there for it. It was great. And the outcome was this absolutely spectacular match. Like I said, AJ Styles can have a 5-star match with a broomstick. Brock Lesnar works his best with smaller opponents, and when he wants to show up, this is the outcome that you get. AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar, modern day, not just Survivor Series classic, but one of my favorite matches of the modern era.
Yeah, those two work very well together. I remember leading into that, like you were saying, that SmackDown where we're heading into Survivor Series and it's going to be Jinder versus Brock Lesnar. And it's no secret, I'm very, very vocal about this. I think Jinder Mahal could go down as the worst WWE champion of all time, and I will fight anybody on that. I think he's absolutely rubbish. He shouldn't be. He should never have touched that championship.
No.
There's other people that haven't won the WWE championship that deserves it more than Jinder Mahal, but that's a different story for a different time. But I'm glad we got AJ versus Brock because I think, like you said, AJ can wrestle anybody, make them look like he could. Look what he did with James Ellsworth, for Christ's sake. He made him look like a freaking seasoned vet when the guy has no chin and no abs.
For real.
And then he goes and he made Brock look even better. And Brock is a guy at that era, like that generation, like that version of Brock. There was no one beating him. Like,
oh yeah, and that was like that generation of Brock was like lazy Brock as well. Like, no offense to Brock, but this match made it feel like we were watching like 03 Lesnar again.
yes.
Moving a lot more faster, looking a lot more athletic. Like I said, just working with smaller opponents has always worked in Brock's favor. And if you're having a caliber of a star like AJ Styles going up against him, then you're always going to get magic.
I honestly was waiting for him to try to do a shooting star press off the top ropes. Like I was waiting for that Brock Lesnar.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Imagine. My
number
God.
4. Oh, Uncle Dave. 4.25. Give me a 4.5. 4.75, dude. Like, come on. Like, that's gotta be. Number 4 on the list is Triple H versus Ric Flair, Last Man Standing 05.
I had a feeling this was going to be here. I'm surprised that it's this high on the list, though. I wouldn't have put it above Brock and AJ, and I wouldn't have put it above the SmackDown 2016 match. I did enjoy this match, though. This was another match in the feud where like these two just knew how to work together. Obviously, like they had that close relationship backstage, and they had that bond. I believe we were talking about the Taboo Tuesday match a couple of weeks ago on the pod. This was just another version of that match. I enjoyed it. I can't remember many details about it in terms of I couldn't give you like a play-by-play of what happened in this match, but I do remember it being solid.
It was one of those. It was one of those. Why are we having this match? I understand. I knew that they had history with the whole evolution thing. I knew that was part of it. Quick shout out, Matt Doulis. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for showing support and love. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah.
And but no, this was. It's just at this point, like Triple H. I just felt that Triple H was already ascending into greatness. I just didn't think he needed Ric Flair. I thought he needed someone who he could actually sink his teeth into and be a little bit more like competitive with. Because Ric Flair at this point, why? Why are we still doing this?
Well, I think the reason is because this was the final nail in the coffin of Evolution, right? Because obviously the year before they had the Randy feud. Earlier this year, you had Batista, and then obviously the only one left that was by Triple H's side was the Nate. And I think that really just put a stamp on this is the end of Evolution. You know, a good few years of Evolution. It was dope, but now it's over. The two legends who formed Evolution going at it, end of an era, kind of.
Uncle Dave gave it 3 3/4 stars. It's not even a 4-star match for Dave.
And yeah, he ain't a fan of it, done.
And that's fine. I'm not. I would. I don't know if I'd probably give it. I'd still give it a 4-star. I don't know if it's because I mean it's Triple H and Rick. It's two.
Yeah, you're always gonna get a solid match. Yeah.
It's still two of the all-time great. You know.
I understand Dave's reasoning here because I do think their Taboo Tuesday match is better. So yeah. I think maybe you saw this as like a bit of a step down from that. Yeah, I thought their Taboo Tuesday match was better than this.
Moving along to number 3. We knew this was coming. Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, 2018, and this is I really think that this is it's like we said it's Brock AJ 1A is A, and then Daniel Bryan Lesnar B. Like they're on the same level because like you said, Brock works great with smaller guys. Daniel Bryan, one of them, it's a modern day Dean Malenko, if you will, that's so technical and is able to do the things that Dean, like he was just a smaller dude that was able to work well. And he wasn't he's not a high flyer. He was able to, he's a mat wrestler. And that's, I think that in my opinion, that paired really well with Brock.
I agree. And I think that the aggressiveness of Daniel Bryan. So a lot of people were worried about this match because obviously, like Daniel Bryan's history of neck injuries and the fact that he actually had to retire because of that. You were putting him in a ring with a guy who literally drops people on their neck for a living. So people were worried about him going into this match. And it was a very interesting dynamic because at the time, Brock Lesnar was Brock Lesnar, but Daniel Bryan was a heel. He'd only just won the WWE Championship, if you remember, by beating AJ Styles in a very heelish way. And he had not really explained his actions properly after that. So people were seeing a heel versus heel match here. But at the same time, you were still having Daniel Bryan. I've gone on the record and say, for a lot of times on your lives, probably on this podcast, everywhere. I'm not the biggest Daniel Bryan fan in the world. I prefer Bryan Danielson to Daniel Bryan. However, his 2018 till 2019 WrestleMania 35 run is probably my favorite in WWE that he's had. when he was like that, like Earth, like he had the hemp title. I thought that was a very, very good run for Daniel Bryan. I enjoyed it. This match started off very slowly. It was about 5 or 6 minutes of Brock just hitting suplex after suplex after suplex. And I think people thought, oh, here we go, formulaic match for Brock Lesnar. And then all of a sudden, like, it kicks into another gear. This match turns more fast paced. The little guy gets like the upper hand. I think you had a couple of Busaiko knees. Brock Lesnar was like all woozy. Like, Brock Lesnar can sell like a champion. I don't think people give him a lot of credit for that. Brock
When he
Lesnar,
wants
when he
to.
wants
When he
to,
wants
yeah,
to.
when he wants to, Brock Lesnar can sell like an absolute trooper, and he does for the younger guys that he respects, and for the littler guys that he respects. And when Daniel Bryan was like putting it to him, getting him in the lapel lock or the yes lock, whatever you want to call it, when he was hitting him with the Busaiko knees, he was selling his ass off for Daniel Bryan. Obviously, Brock won the match, but this was one of the best singles matches in Survivor Series history. I 100% agree that this should be in the top 3. Maybe for singles matches, this should be that top 1. This or the AJ one.
Uncle Dave gave it 4.5. I think it should be 4 3/4.
I agree. 4 3/4 or 5 stars. I thought this was fantastic. The pacing of it was unbelievable. And again, I hate to like drag on about it, but I don't think people give it a lot of credit in terms of the pacing. It starts off very slowly, and it leads you into like a false sense of security that like, oh, we're just getting a Brock Lesnar Universal Title typical match, and then it totally switches up, and Daniel Bryan gets like a second gear. It's kind of like a Bryan Danielson gear, where he turns very aggressive, very technical, but very aggressive style.
Absolutely. It's one of those. Yeah, and the old adage goes, Dave Meltzer probably would have gave it a 5-star match if it was in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, probably not wrong with that.
Number 2, the final 2 is always a fun one. Number 2, Triple H versus Shawn Michaels versus Rob Van Dam versus Booker T versus Chris Jericho versus Kane. The very first Elimination Chamber match in 2002.
Very first Elimination Chamber match. You could not have introduced a stipulation better than this. This was the perfect way to have an Elimination Chamber like debut. It introduced it perfectly to the point where it's like still around these days. Shawn Michaels winning his only world title after he returned to WWE in this, which is crazy when you think about it. Looking like an absolute. I mean, I'm sorry, Shawn Michaels looked absolutely shit in this match. He had the brown weird pants that weren't fully done. That's why he had to wear them like that, looking like he shot himself. And he had a weird bob haircut, which was awful. So, yeah, he didn't look the best, but he won the title. The match was great. You had that famous injury spot where Rob Van Dam frog splashed Triple H right onto his larynx and injured him. Like, he was in a lot of pain, apparently, Triple H, for the whole match. But perfect chemistry, perfect dynamic. Triple H really coming into contact with everyone that he screwed over that year. Rob Van Dam, Kane, Jericho, Booker T. He'd had like a bit of a feud with everybody that year, but especially Shawn Michaels, and it was perfect for him to come back and win his World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, that was one that, again, it was 2002. I was in and out. I was told to go back and watch that like about 2 years ago, and actually went back and watched that. Being the very first Elimination Chamber, we've been doing this for 23 years now. Elimination Chamber,
Yeah,
23 years, and it's so big they gave it its own pay-per-view. Like, think about that. Because you look at some of the other gimmick matches. I mean, obviously the gimmick matches, TLC matches. TLC used to have their own pay-per-view. It's gone now. Hell in a Cell, they're just recently kind of bringing, like, they got rid of that pay-per-view too. It didn't last. And Elimination Chamber is just one of those things that, because of this match and how gruesome it was, and just the unadulterated violence that it caused, it was something that everyone looks forward to seeing. It's not like War Games where they're like, well, we're just going to throw 8 to 10 random people in a match together. I mean,
this has like real weighted consequences. Like, like usually it's for the most prestigious prize in the company, like for a world championship. I mean, where can you go wrong with the Elimination Chamber, dude? You mix in a giant cage that's like a Hell in a Cell. You mix it with a countdown like the Royal Rumble, mixed with a Survivor Series style elimination pinfall scenario, and then you put them all in a giant area where you can jump off things and smash people through glass cages. Like, where can you go wrong with that? And I think there's a reason why it's been able to stick around so much.
It's pure entertainment for us people who love gratuitous violence.
For real. Can't argue with it. I can't, and I'm not surprised, and I'm absolutely fine with it being in the top 3. I wouldn't have even minded if it was number 1.
And number 1, or wait, Dave Meltzer gave it 4.25.
Nice. Shout out to Triple H, by the way. This was his idea. I know this was during his reign of terror, but he did one great thing, and that was come up with the concept of Elimination Chamber.
Oh, that was Triple H.
It was, yeah. Like, people say it was Eric Bischoff, but that was like a kayfabe thing. I believe it was actually Triple H backstage who came up with the concept.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So,
obviously, Jericho create the Money in the Bank, where Triple H do Elimination Chamber. So,
So this is the first week. This is the first week we've actually, for the most part, are agreeing with what the Sportster people are saying.
I know. Like, I'm quite happy with that. Well done, Sportster.
Let's see what number 1 is. Number 1.
Please don't put Bret and Shawn. Please don't put Bret and Shawn at number 1.
It's Bret.
Yeah.
But it's Bret and Stone Cold from '96.
That's the right answer. That is. I thought they were going to do the screw job, and I'm sorry. Like, as infamous as that is, it wasn't an amazing match beforehand, to be honest. Bret versus Austin from '96. Fantastic, really great match. Was this the match where he has Bret in the $1 Million Dream, and then Bret like sort of runs up the ropes and like pins him?
I believe so. Yes,
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was, because then after that, obviously they go to the next year, WrestleMania 13, and have the submission match. Yeah, this was fantastic. Again, early 99, late 1996, Austin had just done the Austin 316 promo a couple of months prior. Bret Hart still considered probably the workhorse of the company. Austin really coming into his own here. Like 1997, we all know what he would do that year, but he really started off his rise to the top in 1996. Yeah, this was a great match. Technical. Bret Hart, again, kind of like AJ Styles, could have a match with a broomstick and he would make it a 5-star classic. Austin, pre neck injury Austin, where he could move a little bit faster, do a couple more, like fast-paced athletic maneuvers. This was a great combination of people coming together, and the feud was fantastic. Like the straight-laced Bret Hart coming against the rebel, anti-establishment Stone Cold Steve Austin. Always going to be one of my favorite dynamics of all time. One of the best feuds of the 90s.
Yes, absolutely. It's to me, like I had to go back again because with everything, obviously I just turned 44 years old yesterday, Rhys, and
yes, you did.
I'm starting to my brain's not functioning like I used to. So I'm getting a little fuzzy with some of my stuff. So I did go back and watch some of the the Bret and Stone Cold stuff over the summer, and that's probably one of the most slept on feuds in WWE history. I don't think people
totally agree.
I don't think people really appreciate Bret and Stone Cold as much as they should.
No, I will always fly the flag for this, and I totally agree with you here. I mean, people always remember WrestleMania 13, which, as they should, probably one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. But what people forget is their feud before that was already amazing. They already had a great little spot in the Royal Rumble, where it was actually Bret who won the Royal Rumble, but the referees didn't see Bret eliminate Austin. Comes back in, screws Bret. Before then, like you say, the Survivor Series, it was just perfect. It worked for the same reason why Bret versus Shawn Michaels worked. Like Shawn Michaels wasn't necessarily anti-establishment, but he was very much so the opposite of what Bret Hart was. Austin was very much the opposite of what Bret Hart was, but in a different way. And that's why it works so well.
Yes. So we're inside of our last 10 minutes. I have a list. And I don't know if it's ranked. Let me see if it's ranked. Because it's along the Survivor Series. The 10 shocking WWE Survivor Series moments you forgot about.
Okay.
Would you like to keep this for next time, or do you want me to run this down real quick in this last little bit?
I say we speed run it and give our initial thoughts on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first one on the list is the Big Show turning heel yet again. Survivor Series 14. I think we spoke a little bit on that earlier.
We did, and I wouldn't say that was shocking. Big Show turns heel and face more times than I have hot dinners. So yeah, what? Anyway.
Number 9. Lana is the sole survivor by doing nothing.
Yeah, that was shocking because it was so crap. Yeah, it was very shocking. It was awful. It was rubbish. That was like the year where she just kept getting put through tables like the weeks prior by Nia.
That's the same time period where I think Nia went to basically end her life and ends up like doing that like Samoan leg drop on the apron and yells out, "Oh my hole!"
Well, yeah. Do you know when I first watched that? I was watching Raw live when she said it, and I was like, "Did she meant to say that? Like, was that a thing? What did I just hear? My hole? Like, what?
Hole.
Yeah.
Oh my
shocking. Shocking because it was terrible. This list is off to a great start. What's number 8?
Number 8 is Kofi Kingston upsets Randy Orton and CM Punk. Yeah.
What year was this? Was this 09?
Yeah, 09.
09. Yeah, I thought it was. Was this before or after Randy Orton shouts "stupid" at him? I do remember this. Yeah, Kofi Kingston was in his bag in 2009. Like he was doing great. Too bad it went a little bit downhill. But yeah, shocking. Yeah, okay, yeah, because he wasn't really on the level of a Punk or a Randy at the time. So I'll let that slide. Yeah, that is shocking.
I think Kofi, as much as Kofi Mania was a thing, I think Kofi would have been a better IC champion, like a mid-card guy, like a top-tier mid-card guy. I just never saw him as a main eventer. I never really saw him as the face of the company.
But, you know what, dude? Hot take. I would have another Kofi WWE Championship run. I really would.
Oh.
I didn't necessarily think it was the best title run, but I enjoyed it enough where I wanted to see more, and I think it deserved better the way it ended, if that makes sense.
Okay, next one up, number 7, Helen Hart throws in the towel for her son at Survivor Series 94 when Bob Backlund was getting ready to just rip her son's arm clear off his body.
Yeah, this was dumb. Like this, yeah. It was like well, why is your mum throwing in the towel? Like you're a master technician, dude. Bob Backlund getting like a very like twilight of his career push in 1994, which was odd as it was anyway. Because he had the match with Brett at WrestleMania 11 as well, I believe, did he not? And yeah, I don't know. The whole 1994 Bob Backlund like renaissance was odd. That's all I'll say.
That crossface chicken wing to this day is just one of those moves I just fear because it just looks like excruciating.
It does look excruciating. However, I can no longer take it seriously anymore because it reminds me of probably one of the funniest moments in WrestleMania history.
Yeah.
And it was the I Quit match with Brett. And Roddy Piper, like, obviously Brett's got him in the crossface chicken wing. And it was an I Quit match. And Piper brings the microphone up to Bob Backlund and he goes, "Do you quit? Do you quit?" And Bob just goes, "Ah." And Roddy Piper just says, "He said he quit." I was like, "No, he didn't. He just made a weird noise into the microphone. What are you talking about?"
He said he quit.
Call for the
Number
bell.
6. Shane suffers a concussion at Survivor Series 16. That was
Yeah, we were talking about that. That was the one where he comes off to do the coast to coast, and Reigns just spears the crap out of him in midair, which was amazing. It looked amazing, but immediately you knew there was something wrong with Shane just by the way his head just bounces off the mat.
yeah, that was bad.
Like,
Number 5. Mr. Fuji turns on Demolition to join a new unit, and that was
yeah,
Warlord and Barbarian.
that was shocking. Shocking because why on earth would you why would you move from Demolition to the Warlord and the Barbarian? just not a good tag team.
Yeah.
That's why it's shocking.
Number 4. Scott Steiner makes his WWE return in 2002.
That was at Survivor Series?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't remember that. So yeah, shocking.
Big Papa Pump.
Yeah.
Holla if you hear me.
Oh, legend. I love Scott Steiner. My freaks.
And
I love Scott Steiner.
without Scott Steiner, we do not have Steiner math.
No, we don't. Yeah. They say all men are created equally. Well, you know.
Number 3, Dominic Mysterio gets physical for the first time in WWE in 2018.
Yeah. Yes, this was great. Like this was when it was Ray versus Brock, was it not? And yeah, Dom just gets destroyed here. It was great. It was really good.
Well, we saw the double
619.
Yeah, the double 619.
Yeah, it was great, and he had the baseball bat, I believe, as well.
What now?
I think he had the baseball bat. I think he attacked Brock with the baseball bat.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah,
Double check.
rings a bell.
Number 2, Edge returns to win the WWE Championship in 2008.
Yes, this was shocking because I don't think anyone saw this coming because I think Jeff was actually supposed to be there, right? And then something happened, but I don't think Edge was actually fully cleared either, was he not? And because he comes in like very late on and wins the championship, but I don't think he was fully cleared to wrestle, which is why it was like a short affair.
Yeah.
You just try to think about it, aren't you?
And number 1. Drake Maverick urinates on himself in 2018.
Oh my God. No. Oh my God. No. This was weird. This was so weird. No. This was
It's not
stupid.
shocking, it's gross.
Yeah. That's the number one thing that people may have forgotten about at Survivor Series. You couldn't come up with anything else. You couldn't come
Well,
with nothing.
there's a reason people forgot about it. It was stupid.
Yeah, because it was awful. I forgot about it for a reason. Just a mini version of the AOP. He dressed like the AOP, but he looked like an action figure, just pissing himself. Fantastic.
No, I'm so glad we didn't make a whole episode on that because I would have been a little upset.
Yeah, that was the right call that we just did right there. The right call.
So next week, I do actually have a. This one's controversial. I'm going to bookmark this one. We're going to go at this one, sticking with the Survivor Series theme. It is the 10 most overrated WWE Survivor Series moments ever.
All right, okay. I'll be interested to see what that is then, because obviously I love certain Survivor. I like modern day Survivor Series moments, so maybe some of them will be in there. So I'll be looking forward to like going through that list with you.
So yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at next week. The most overrated moments in in Survivor Series history. The whole month of November, people, we will be talking Survivor Series. That's just something that I feel like we needed to do.
Gotta be done, man. Heading up to the holiday, the pay-per-view of the Goose. Let's go.
Later on this week, on Thursday, I'll be doing my football show with my brother. Again, if you're watching this back, reach out to Rhys and I if you have any suggestions for what you might want to see us talk about in future episodes. If you have a list of your own that you want us to reveal and or whatever, we're more than welcome, or we're more than ready to do that.
Let us know your favorite Survivor Series in the Survivor Series moments in the comments as well, or message me if you have a conversation, or Matt about Survivor Series. I'm sure he will be. I definitely will be more than willing to have a conversation with you.
So yeah, it's Sportster's top 10. That's where I'm getting my stuff now. But Thursday we're doing the football show.
The Sportster did a good job this week. Yeah.
Today they did a very good job. I will give them credit. You
redeem yourself a little bit slightly. Yeah.
It was very well put together. Sportsters, good job.
Hell yeah, dude.
But Thursday we have my brother and I will be doing our college and NFL football predictions and that kind of stuff. For the foreseeable future, our Friday show is being put on the back burner just due to some just scheduling and just stuff that we're in the wrong place at this current time. So bear with us if you enjoyed that Friday show. We'll be back momentarily. I think we're going to wait until our football season over here is done with. So we're talking January-ish before we start that show back up. And that'll be back on Fridays, exploring other options as far as start times and whatnot. So again, give a shout out to Trey, Matt the Duelist, Sean. My brother popped in here a little bit ago, and the two or three people that come in and out. If you're new to the show, press the subscribe button on whatever platform you're watching. Give us a like, share it with your friends, be a friend, tell a friend that this is what we like to do. It's a nostalgia act, if you will. We like to talk about the old school opposed to the new school because old school is cool.
Oh yeah, we're here for a good time and a long time.
Yeah. This is so again, guys, thank you. Rhys, thanks for doing this again. Appreciate you, my brother.
Always, brother. No worries, man.
And I'm in a good mood today, so I'm gonna leave my brother alone on this one. Just know that you're still on the you still make one of our list at the end of the day.